The map you see shows the border of the city of Detroit, Michigan. Detroit is notorious for its pattern of race within its city borders.
If you don't quite understand what we mean by that, take a look for yourself. The northern border of Detroit is indicated by 8 Mile Road, or just 8 Mile for short, as we know from Eminem's 2002 film also titled 8 Mile.
Detroit's residents are quite aware of the residential pattern they participate in, and some might even have bitter feelings.
We as people all have an identity, and the reason that we have this identity is to feel like we fit in and that we belong to a group. Some people, however, are born into parts of their identity and don't get to control how they identify. Those people are what we call a minority group. Minority groups are not always in the minority, and so because of that, we actually think of them as people who face discrimination in one form or another.
The trouble with trying to find true examples of discrimination is we must first establish whether discrimination has occurred or not. However, we often fail to acknowledge that discrimination can be carried out in an unconscious manner. Sometimes it is the product of people following the conventions of a flawed system.
A popular example of this is the non-indictment of Ferguson, Missouri officer Darren Wilson for the death of Michael Brown in 2014. The prosecution of Wilson was not a properly presented case. Bob McCulloch, the prosecutor overseeing the case, provided the grand jury an excess of evidence, letting the jury, quote, decide for themselves. A former Tennessee prosecutor, Alex Little, argued that this legal strategy was essentially a choice to abdicate his role in the process as an advocate for the victim. The volume of evidence meant jurors had to sort out conflicting perspectives and evidence, making it more difficult to determine sufficient probable cause.
Minority groups are not new to the discrimination they face. The minorities that exist today have existed for a while and have faced their own forms of discrimination for their own lengths of time. The LGBT+ community did not even begin fighting back to the systematic injustice they face until the 1960s. In 1969, the Stonewall Inn housed an uprising of drag queens, transgender activists, and other LGBT+ members, as well as allies. A riot broke out in the streets that lasted for 6 days and caught the attention of people around the nation. At this event, police got high heels bashed into their heads, and Molotov cocktails were even thrown into the streets.
Another type of injustice is cultural appropriation in fashion and in sports. Gucci has had many incidents, one being the situation in which Gucci's models wore religious head coverings such as hijabs, niqabs, silk turbans, and many more in the Milan Fashion Week. Lisa Khan, a reporter and voice for Muslim women, expresses, "The turban look was an absolute mockery. It doesn't feel like it's done by accident anymore. It's as though they're doing it on purpose for attention." She continues, "Imagine wearing henna, a hijab, turban, bindi, and then seeing it on a catwalk considered to be fashionable, and its actual meaning is cultural importance neglected and sidelined for the purpose of the aesthetic for that season." Now, let's view cultural appropriation in sports. The Washington Redskins openly use the word Redskins as if it weren't insulting. On top of that, they proceed to mimic and wear headdresses that only Chiefs and Native Americans wear.
Everyone has their own experiences as well as their own opinions. The battle of the sexes is a concept that has existed for generations and is what caused the feminism movement to come to fruition. Feminism may be a movement advocating women, but women, being a large demographic, are actually in the majority in most cases. Thus, female individuals can receive an advantage in some cases just as their counterpart can receive privilege in others. Female defendants receive more lenient sentence outcomes compared to their male counterparts. Even when controlling other legal factors, men experience harsher sentences when being charged with the exact same crime.
Discrimination has been around for ages and will likely never cease to exist. From this video, we hope that you found insight on the different ways discrimination can perpetuate around you in or around your life without you even realizing. Sociologists refer to petty acts of discrimination as microaggressions. Notice these microaggressions and don't be ignorant to them. Do something.